As the leader of the Booner Path, I lead from the front.
All right, boys. Lock in.
It's our core foundation, man. Grit.
I'm fired up. I'm fired the f*** up, boys.
It's pumping right now. It's got my juices pumping, boys.
Welcome to Crunch Time Sports with Jeff, Booner, and Lukas. It is Tuesday, May 6th. We are back.
Come on.
Great show yesterday, man. Honestly. Got to talk
yeah.
Ahmed Hassanin's brother, which the clip is live right now, so go check that out today. We have Scott Bischoff joining, fellas. I'm fired up about it. How we feeling? I see the Pistons hat. We'll get into JB getting robbed. Don't worry.
Yeah, ridiculous. I'm going to say this. The music is deafening in my ears.
Blast.
Yeah, I don't know, Jeff, if you've adjusted the.
Nope, same as always.
It has got. Maybe there's an update with the program. It has gotten so loud.
The same thing, Boone.
My ears are probably bleeding right now. Unreal. By the way, we figured out how to pronounce Ahmed his name correctly, Hassanin. Yep. So that I'm pumped up about that. But no, I'm pumped up. Fun show. Yesterday was top 5 Crunch Time sports show of all time. Yeah. I thought that it's just like, and I know Corey, like they had messaged me and everything. He's like an hour on it. Like, dude, like I thought that was like the best hour of Crunch Time, man. Like that was unbelievable. And he had told me, he texted me last night, said, do not look at, I can't remember the year it was, my high school highlights. So we're gonna have to bring those up.
Dive in.
But no, I'm pumped up for today.
He's a good guy, man. It was a lot of fun. It was. And he'll be joining again. I know a lot of people are commenting that. Like, bring him back on. Like, don't worry. He'll be back on. I mean, it was I got us fired up about Ahmed, man. Got us fired up.
Jeff, I just wanted to mention it today. I told you after the show yesterday, I out of respect, I waited until our pizza bet, our 4 sacks pizza bet. I don't know if you just want to pay up the pizza now and we can cancel the bet, or if you want us to stick to it, because I think he might get like 6, 7 plus. If he gets a chance, maybe I'm a slappy, but that fires me up.
Drinking the Kool-Aid there. Well, there's the thing that honestly, and Jeff, you got excited too. The thing that really put it in perspective is when he was talking about, he's like, we're all talking about Zadarius Smith. He could come back, Judon, like there's all these names. What if it's just Ahmed? Like, what if that's the guy behind Marcus Davenport? And Jeff, if that's the case, brother,
you're in trouble.
That insurance policy with Marcus Davenport, it's cheap because hey, it's inevitable. So if
you want to cancel the bet, we can do it.
No, I'm not going to cancel it. I'll take.
We'll do a half a pizza. You can cash out now for a half a pizza.
No, I'm not doing that. No, okay. I'm going to let it ride because it's a win-win, man. If I have to buy pizza, that means Ahmed's a great player. So I'll be fine.
Situation to be wrong.
Yeah, it is. And it's not even about like, he won't get 4 sacks. It's just, I think he's more of a year 2 breakout guy, but he could come
year
in and
1,
shock.
Brother.
He could come in and shock everyone, man. He can. And that's what Corey was saying. It's just like the NFL defensive scheme and everything. It's like, once that stuff settles in, he'll be fine. But yeah, if he gets 7 sacks, Boone, he could win Defensive Rookie of the Year.
I don't think too. Like the thing is one of the reasons I made the bet was because my one point was a guy like that who went from 2 sacks to 12.5 to 9.5. Like, to me, we've watched a lot of college ball in our lives. When you see a player like that, that really just means like, hey, he got his moment or his opportunity and he took advantage of it. And then when you hear him talk, you hear a story, you hear everything about him. You go, if this kid ever gets an opportunity to start at some point this year, he is going to take advantage of it and he will not give it up. And I made the bet banking on it. And you know what his brother says? Corey says, if he gets the opportunity and Dan gives him the opportunity, I promise you he's not letting that slip away. So that's it. Everything just kind of came full circle for me together last night for me. So,
and I'm not defensive rookie of the year, 6, 7.5 sacks where Booner's at. But my thing is there's some of these Brad Holmes picks where you look at like Kirby Joseph coming out of Illinois. You look at Amon-Ra coming out of USC. And I don't think he's going to be that caliber of player as far as all pro that quickly. But there's sometimes when you just watch the player And it's hard not to be excited about it because when you watch them on film, there's no denying that they are a good football player. Like when you turn on Ahmed's film, like you cannot deny that this dude is a good football player. So they got him in the 6th round. You're sitting here and you're thinking about more so the 6th round. But when you're watching his film at Boise State and you see the situation that he could be in Detroit, where if they don't sign Zadarius Smith, he is so far ahead of like a player like AQM as far as being a 3-down player. Like you cannot have AQM out there on like a 3rd and 2. You can, but it's not ideal compared to a guy where if like Ahmed in like week 7, week 8, if he has to be in there and he's got a couple reps under his belt, he's got a couple games under his belt.
He's taking advantage
in there. You got Josh Jacobs on the field. You putting Ahmed out there to tackle him or AQM. One of those type of situations where just by default, because of the personnel that they have, he's a little bit more versatile and able to be on the field by some of these other defensive ends that they got. Like I saw somebody in the chat talk about Mekhi Wingo. Like Mekhi Wingo could be really good if they move him out to defensive end in certain situations. You're not like putting Mekhi Wingo out at defensive end. Like they have a lot of these tweeners. Hassanin's just a defensive end. Like you can put him at a 5-tech, but that dude's put him in a 3-point stance, put him in a 2-point stance. You line him up on the edge. I could see like 3
4 sacks.
I'm not
Jeff.
saying I'm not
4
saying,
sacks, Jeff. 4 sacks, Jeff. I want my pizza when that 4 sacks hits.
I mean, you're acting like you already won the bet. I mean, what?
Basically did.
Yeah, I mean, Corey got me fired up about it. I just think it's more the 5 years. I think, man, if he goes from 5 years of playing football to like 6, 7 sacks, boom, that is like,
I mean, it's ridiculous what you're saying. Do you hear yourself? No.
No, it's just
30-second timeout. No. 30-second timeout. 30 second. Both of it. 30-second timeout. 30 seconds. Jeff, did you hear what you just said?
I did.
You're talking about 4 or 5 sacks after 5 years of playing. The guy, his junior year, had 12 and a half sacks, and then follow it up. Hold on, 30 seconds. This is my 30-second timeout. And then followed it up with 9.5 sacks after a scheme change and a new defensive coordinator that asked him to stop the run first. Oh, that was his. Oh, sorry, Jeff. That was his 3rd and 4th year playing football ever. Sorry. 12 and a half sacks in year 4 of ever playing football. So 4 to me, 12 and a half, 4 doesn't really change anything for me, if I'm being honest.
Booner, I'm going to end this as your 30 seconds. Jeff, your 30 seconds. I do not have a
timeout up. Timeout is out.
Yeah, I just think it's just reality. I mean, this is the NFL, man. It's not. It's just how it goes. I mean, Boise State. If Boone thinks it's close to the NFL, then that's his opinion.
12 and a half.
I just think. Listen, I think. Yeah, I was going to say. I think Ahmed, the upside is there. I think he's going to be an excellent player. I just think year 1, the Lions like to bring players along very slowly. I can see him making plays his rookie year. Like Corey said, they're not really looking at it statistically. It's more just being involved, playing in spots, being a contributor. 4 sacks, if it happens, great. I just think that'll be more. You'll see Ahmed and what he can be year 2 in the system.
Jeff, you're timed to those 30 seconds. He's at 34 seconds. I have a timer over here. That was 34 seconds. James Houston, listen, and I'm not saying he's going to be James Houston again, but I get the argument. We can sit back and have the argument about Boise State. It's not as high as a level as a Power 5. I get that, or 4 now, but I understand that. But like a James Houston, the man comes in and has 8 sacks from Jackson State. I'm not saying I'm not going to use these and really intertwine all of them together, but you're acting like it's impossible. Like it just can't happen. Like he played at Boise State. He had 12 and a half and 9.5 at Boise. The Mountain West is not a bad conference.
I'm not. You're okay. You're trying to argue with me. I'm not arguing.
Put some respect on the Mountain West name.
I'm not. Yeah, this is where you're trying to turn the narrative to say I'm like disrespecting the guy. All I'm saying is 4 sacks his rookie year. That'd be awesome. I just like if you're talking. I mean, you said 6, 7 a little earlier. We're talking.
That was ceiling. That was just me getting really excited. But the 4 sacks, I think, is doable. Again,
that's fair. I'm not going to argue with you over it. That's fair.
He gets an opportunity, and they and obviously a lot of people think he needs development, and he's a little raw, and
that's it.
I can understand that. But I do think that no matter what, if he gets an opportunity, it's a situation to where he steps in and he's going to make something of it. Yeah, there we go. I don't care if it's Boise State, Kevin Gates, or Dwayne Wade. Lakers in 5. Ahmed in 4.
Yeah, I don't want this to be like, now it sounds like I don't believe in the player. I just think it's a year 2 breakout for him. I think you'll see it year 2.
No, I think he's going to have a good year. Again, it's just give the guy an opportunity.
Yeah.
By the way, I think Ahmed's dad's in the chat as well.
He was in the chat yesterday.
Yeah.
Shout out
I think
to
he's in
him.
the chat. So
hi everyone. I'm Ahmed Hassanin's father, watching you from Cairo, Egypt, and you guys will see one kind of a man, success, beautiful human being. I raised, never give up, a dedication.
Come on.
Well,
I love that.
You're raised an excellent young man. All right, he's going to be an excellent player. We all agree with that. I think honestly, the thing I'm most excited about for him is the human being. I mean, he obviously what he does with his faith, but I'm excited. You don't have to worry about him at all. I mean, he's just, what you're getting from him. That's what I'm excited about. You know what I mean? You don't have to even think twice. Like his brother said, it's full effort all the time. And that's what you're getting. Relentless. Exactly. Let's you know what? Let's bring in our friend who, he did call his shot. This man just, Scott Bischoff. He actually had a reel that we posted weeks ago. This is like 2 weeks prior to the draft. And Scott goes, yeah, this dude's a lion. And then fast forward 2 weeks, he's drafted, and now the reel has like 40,000 more views. So Scott's just, what, the guys, you give him his flowers. He's a celebrity, lucky enough. He's being gracious enough to give us his time. This guy, one of the most intellectual human beings.
He loves these intros, by the way, Jeff.
When it comes to ball, Mr. Scott Bischoff. Scott, how we doing, brother?
Keep going.
Scott, it's just...
You guys good?
We are good, Scott.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem. We're excited to talk to you. The last time we talked to you, we previewed the draft, and now we get to kind of recap everything and kind of get your thoughts on the whole draft class and get to give you your flowers for calling Ahmed. And it's not even like a call in the first round. Like you had people coming out like, oh, I called Tyleek. You called a man in the 6th round, Scott. So before we get to that, we'll get to that. Don't worry. Let's start with the first round pick, Tyleek Williams. I want your honest assessment of the player because the biggest thing that's been frustrating us is the crowd. I think it's little to none at this point, but there was a crowd at the time when it was overdraft. This stuff. This guy should have been a second round pick. And then you find out that the Bills were going to take him in the first round. And that's why Brad was reluctant to move back because he didn't think he'd be there. But what do you think? Number one, your reaction to the pick live. And then now that it's kind of settled, what do you think about Tyleek Williams?
If we just consider that Aleem McNeil is missing 6 to 8 weeks to start the season, and that's probably, obviously it's a long, there's a ramp to get to that point, but we're a week and a half out from the draft or whatever it is. We know McNeil's not going to be ready, and they had a huge hole in the middle of that defensive line. Obviously, Brad Holmes covets this player, or probably takes that trade back. But just from a play style standpoint, you can see where the Lions like this guy. He's really stout against the run. I like him more as a 3-tech than I do as a 1-tech. Even at the 330 pounds, I think he's really difficult to block man on man, singled up. He's kind of a nightmare for guards, centers, whatever, tackles, whatever you want to call it. Just the way he stacks blocks and kind of peeks his head into the right gap. It's kind of a tell. His head is always in the gap where the ball is going to end up going. He's got great instincts. That's probably the one thing that I would imagine as the Lions were starting out the process, as they looked at this guy and saw, seems like he always knows where the ball is going. And I know they covet that kind of stuff. So again, huge hands, really good ability to lock out his elbows and his arms and kind of peek into the backfield and make plays. I think there's this concept that has him sort of penciled in as a run stuffing sort of nose tackle type. And I don't think that's his game at all. I don't think he's not going to be Aaron Donald, but I think he does have some gap to gap lateral agility where he's going to make plays. He's going to collapse the pocket. And then with the relentlessness with which he plays, I think he's going to make plays, so good. I think it's a good pick. It's a foundational kind of pick. So it's boring. It's like, a run first kind of defensive tackle. Okay, whatever. So there's a little bit of a boring pick, but I can understand why the Lions made this pick. I can't.
Yeah, hey Scott, I do want to bring up the next pick. Obviously, we kind of go down the line here, but kind of just as a group pick here, with Tate Ratledge and Miles Frazier, the kind of the guard situation that they had. I think one of the things, the biggest things, and maybe you had the same takeaway, is that with the Graham Glasgow and the Kevin Zeitler thing, that they just kind of, I don't want to say they're giving up on Graham, but they're like, hey, we need some refreshers in here. We need some dudes in here with Christian, Miles, and Tate to take over those guard spots for this Lions kind of front five there. What are your thoughts on those picks, both of them, and really too, can you break down a little bit of what you see out of Tate Ratledge, and do you feel like he could be the starting guard like right away for this Lions team this year?
Yeah, I do. I think he's got enough athleticism to run to kind of handle himself pretty easily in their outside zone stuff they do, and having the power to play in their gap concepts, right? So that's a tough combination. Generally, if you're a really good zone guard, that means you have really good agility and really good athleticism, but it's tough to find those guys who are stout and are good in gap and power concepts too. Ratledge is. So I think he fits them a bit to a T as far as being able to play in their run concepts, right? So then it's just a matter of how does he handle himself in pass protection kind of stuff. He is over aggressive. I think we've talked about this. I think we have. It's all a blur, but he's very aggressive. There are times when he'll punch with both hands at the same time, and you can see how if you miss with one of them, you're out of position a little bit with your upper body, and you can get a little extended over your toes. There's another area where you can see his aggressiveness, and there are times when he doesn't pick up stunts and twists all that great because he's so focused on the guy who started the play in his gap. And there's an aggression level there where the Lions need to kind of rein him in just a touch and just to get his hands kind of figured out. But there are some guards and tackles in this class who don't punch at all. So you appreciate the power with in which he plays, and I think he can. I mean, there's no reason that he can't start out and play for them right away. Yeah. I mean, he's athletic enough to do it. He's powered up enough to do it. It's just getting him a little bit dialed in. Hank Fraley's a really good offensive line coach, right? So I think the expectation is that Ratledge can grow, and not that he need. I mean, it's not like he's raw. There's a little bit where you'd want him a little more refined. Miles Frazier to me is I think this is a guy who probably will get a lot of snaps at center in camp. I think there's some unknown at this point with what's happening with Glasgow, and it's much better for the Lions if Glasgow is either a backup or I don't know totally what's happening there. But as an older player, injuries kind of pile up, and once they come, man, we saw what happened at the end of the year and how much he struggled.
Yeah.
And I think it's really smart for the Lions to bring in playmaking and, some guys who have played for a while in college and just to, plug and play kind of players. But I think with Frazier, I do think that we're looking more at a player who probably will back up Frank Ragnow and be capable of playing guard for them. But, with the two picks, I'm not, I guess I got a little on day 2. I was a little nitpicking a touch. Like I'd elect him 10 spots later. Well, who gives a shit, right? Like,
Yeah.
like nobody cares. The Lions liked him enough to move up a few spots to get him, and it makes sense. They need some talent on the offensive line. We know what Goff is. We know that the offensive line is going to take this offense wherever it's going to go. But I think Frazier, I'm surprised he lasted as long as he did. I felt about him the way I felt about Mahogany when he was drafted 2 years ago. It's like there's some excitement about this player who's going to give them a really high floor. And yeah, he might not be, a Pro Bowl kind of interior offensive lineman, but he's played enough and he's really solid in pass pro. There's a lot to work with there. So I really like those two picks on the interior of that offensive line. Can
I throw you on the spot here? Week 1, whoever they play. Week 1, who is the starting offensive line? Who do you think the 5 are?
Well, I mean, for sure, we hope it's Decker, Ragnow, and Sewell.
Right.
My guess is Mahogany is your Mahogany might be your left guard and Ratledge could be your right guard. I think that might be how that shakes out. But it's a good question. There's no good answer for it. I don't know. I think that's what it'll look like.
Yep.
Love that.
Got the young guns going, Scott. We're just going to go right down the line. Okay, talk about the offensive line. Talk about trading up for Tate Ratledge, another player that they traded up for. It was very controversial as far as the trade pick. And you're like, what the hell are we going on here, moving up 32 picks for Isaac Tesla? Then you look at Isaac Tesla, and you're like, what the hell? Like 6'4", but he plays in the slot, and you watch him. It's like he only has 500 yards of production, 400 yards of production. But then you watch the film, you're like, this dude's really fucking good. So what do you think of Isaac Tesla, and what do you think the plan is going to be? Because like I said, he's 6'4", but was primarily in the slot at Arkansas. So it's not like you can instantly just throw him in the outside at the NFL. Or can you?
I think you can. I honestly would take the Arkansas film and you just look at the traits and like the athletic stuff. They had no idea how to use him. And I think it was just easiest for them to play him out of the slot, instead of having a functional, like a really good offense. They did a lot of weird stuff, right? So I think that with him, it's more about traits. So 6'4", 215 range, running in the low to mid 4.4s. He has huge hands. I know that they gave up two future thirds and pick 102 to move up 32 spots in this draft. So I think it matters that context is you moved up a full round. Those picks that they gave up also are not happening until next year. So there's value that's lost because you're not making those picks for a year. And I'm sure Jacksonville's fine, not making those picks for a year, but there's, that's how it works. So if you're in the middle of round 5 and you just want to fire a pick at a team, you have to give up next year's 4th round pick to make that pick in round 5. So I think people should be looking at those 3rd round picks as the equivalent of 4th round picks from this year, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So I think the trade was fine. It's going to suck, being on the clock next year and thinking, well, the Lions could have drafted 1 or 2 of these guys that we really like. But with Tesla, I think you're getting what they've looked to do since Holmes got here, and they've tried the big, fast outside receivers. You're doing that very inexpensively with him. He has arrogant hands. It's just the best way to describe them. It's like,
I like that.
He catches the ball different than most receivers do. There's just a natural quality to the way he does it. This isn't hot takey or any of that kind of stuff, but I do think that there's going to be highlight clips of catches he makes, because some of them are they're absurd. They just are. And then he does some things already naturally where I totally understand what Brad Holmes is saying when he says he was his favorite player, his favorite receiver in the draft. I think a side note to that is that we should really be paying attention to Brad Holmes when he talks about receivers like this. This is a guy who was instrumental in getting Cooper Kupp to the Rams and also found a gem in Amon-Ra St. Brown pretty late in year 1, right? So I think when he talks about a receiver like this, we should really perk up and pay attention. Tesla is a player who can manipulate his body. He can contort his body. When the ball's in the air, there are lots of bad throws at Arkansas where he makes catches and they're just kind of silly looking. I think he's a good route runner right now. I think he does need to improve as a route runner, just the nuances and the subtleties of it. But the big thing going forward is I would expect defenses to jam him a little bit, press him. And how does he do? How does he fare there getting off of press coverage? But most receivers coming into the NFL need to work on that kind of stuff to begin with.
Right.
Dominant player at the catch point. He must have incredible vision because his ability to track the ball is pretty awesome. And then to adjust, you know what I mean? It's like he's a fun watch. If we're just looking at college production, yeah, you wouldn't consider him. You wouldn't think much. But again, I don't know that Arkansas really knew what they had or how to deploy him. So I'm kind of excited to see what he's going to give them.
What do you think in terms of, because the big thing that people say, at least I've seen with Isaac Tesla, is people like to throw around the word like Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua. What do you when you see a player like that, what in your mind, what do you think his ceiling can be? It's hard to judge, but with those physical traits, people look at him as like, oh, he'll be a Tim Patrick replacement. But to me, that seems like, could he be much more than that potentially?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he's a Tim Patrick replacement, but he's a very juiced up version of that. So I think to me, Patrick is a possession, move the chains type receiver. I think Tesla will be a little bit like that, but a lot of like run after catch ability. But then when you're looking in the red zone, his ability to jump and high point the ball and to kind of box out defenders it's instinctive, and he's really good at it already. I think that's where you're going to see him win, which is, with the ball in the air. Now, the thing that he's got to do is he's got to get with Jared Goff, and they got to get on the same page, because Goff has kind of proven over time that if he doesn't trust the receiver to be where he's supposed to be, he's really not going to give him a chance. Right. So, but I mean, the upside is absolutely there. The run after catch stuff, the athleticism. I mean, he's a seriously juiced up version of what the Lions have asked Tim Patrick or Josh Reynolds or some of the others to do. He's kind of a very juiced up version of that.
And do you, Scott, this might be a kind of and I don't know how many times you get this question after a draft, but for someone like you've seen a lot of these players, not that just went to the Lions, but all around the NFL that get drafted. When you look at the board, let's say the first 3 rounds, was there any players on the board when you're sitting there when the Lions are up to pick that you're like, after the fact, you're like, oh, I can't believe they just passed up on him? Were there a few players like that the first few rounds that you kind of look back in hindsight and you're like, I wish Dan or Brad would have drafted him instead? With all the respect to the players that they did draft, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I really wanted Ezra to be a Lion. He went to, he went in round 2. I would have loved it if he was a Lion, but I understand what the Lions did, it's I mean, I think that happens every draft where I might appreciate a player for some of the things they do. But I mean, this is where we all have to kind of tip our hat to Brad Holmes and understand that there's a plan, and he hits more than he misses. And, there are players that I still would have preferred, maybe over some of the players they took, but I understand what they did. Right. So in totality, if we're talking about this draft, and if I knew coming out of this draft, the Lions were going to get 2 potential starters and some help at other positions, I would have thought that's pretty good for picking at 28. There have been draft classes in the past where you haven't found that through an entire draft. Right. And those have come with teams that weren't very good at all. So the idea that you walked out of this draft with Tyreek Williams and Tate Ratledge and Miles Frazier, and one of those guys I think starts pretty soon, if not right away, it's soon. And then Tesla, the receiver. We're going to get to the other ones. I think that they've got help in a bunch of places, and an injection of competition and playmaking in other places. I think they did a really good job in this draft. And whether or not I would have preferred Ezra or others, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? It's like, I mean, it's a good question. It's just, going with what they picked. I like what they did.
And Scott, I've brought up this pick a lot at post draft, and you're talking about the Lions getting their guy. Chicago Bears did the same, taking Colson Loveland 10th overall.
Oh, here
what
we
are
go.
your thoughts on that pick? And then 2, the noise around Colson Loveland is he's a mismatch. Nobody can match up with him. How do you think the Detroit Lions will go to plan to match up with a player like Colson Loveland?
I did not like it when the Bears took him as a Lions fan. I'll just say that. I didn't love it. I fully expected them to take a tight end, though, because Ben Johnson knows what Laporta did for that offense when he got here in year 1. I think Loveland is a bit of an upgraded version of what Laporta does do. He's a good enough blocker. All that stuff's cool. As a route runner, though, he's a tough player to match up with because he's big and he's a really advanced route runner. I would expect, it's such a long way out, but I could see the Lions not bracketing him because you can't do that against the tight end, but maybe a guy like Brian Branch kind of follows him around a little bit. Kirby Joseph's deep in the deeper parts of the field. So I do think that you want to get hands on him all like right away and not allow him to get up the field into his releases and all that stuff, because he's a really good route runner. He was a really good pick. It's a smart pick for what the Bears did. Again, I don't like it as a Lions fan. He was tight end 1 for me in this class. I think Penn State did a lot of stuff to manufacture touches for Tyler Warren. And Warren's he's fun to watch when the ball's in his hands. It's a lot of fun. But as far as just a pure route runner, the tight end route runner in this class was Loveland, and I think he's going to be a problem going forward.
And Scott, the big thing, and you were way ahead of it, but can you dive into your mindset, kind of looking back with Ahmed and what you thought of the player, and just kind of restate that. And then when you see the Lions take him in the 6th round and they finally address edge and everyone's kumbaya and excited and fired up about him, can you just go through kind of what you think he can bring to the Lions and why you love the player so much?
So it's just the story that starts the whole process, right? And understanding that he only played for 5 years and he's not, he's scholarship player at Boise State, and the off the field, the character, all of that is just, it's such an incredible story. And it wouldn't surprise me if there's a movie made about him one day. I mean, even at this point, it's just incredible what he's done. And congrats to his family and all that. It's remarkable. When you watched him at the combine, there was one little thing he did with Chuck Smith. He's the Ravens pass, like their pass rush coach. And he was pounding his chest. And it's like, yeah, I could see the Lions looking at this guy thinking, all right, he's in shorts and a t-shirt working out at the combine, and he's fired up to do it. He's excited to be there. And I mean, that's an interaction that you don't normally see. Everybody else is just kind of trying to get, I mean, you want to perform well, but let's just get this over. And he was in the moment. He was fired up about it. Everybody should go back and watch it. It was a really interesting, for his evaluation. Like this dude gets it. Like he doesn't want to give this opportunity up. So that's, I had seen him in the college season, and he's a relentless player and all that stuff. But then I go back and I look and I think, all right, there's this guy is off the field like he is a perfect fit for Detroit. And then I watch him play, and it's like, all right, there's a little bit of raw in his stance where there's not a lot of stagger between his feet. And that makes him inefficient off the ball. His first step is not all that efficient. So it looks like he's a little bit late and slow off the ball. But being late and slow off the ball, there are times when he does understand how to move tackles. He does understand how to win at the turn point. He will go back inside. He understands how to set up tackles and will go back inside. But the big thing is that he knows how to move them because he plays with leverage and he understands all that stuff. Instinctually, he already knows how to do those things. And at 6'2" and just under 270 pounds, he's built to do those things. His ability to move people is impressive. So the thing with him that stands out to me is that he is a gem that you just have to refine a little bit, right? You found a gem in the dirt, and you just got to clean it up and just get him like playing at his optimal. I don't think it's going to take long for him to get there, though, because he does a lot of that stuff. He does a lot of really intriguing, good stuff already. He's really good setting the edge. He's very physical. He's going to play the run for you, all those things. If the Lions can get his first step worked out to get him a little more explosive coming off the ball, I think he'll get on the field sooner than a lot of people think. I don't know that happens in year one. I don't know that happens by week 6, but with his story, I would not count him out on any of these things. I just wouldn't. And I think with his natural size and his athleticism and his ability to play with leverage, and then you throw in the desire that this guy carries with him to be great and to do the things that he's already done, which are remarkable, I wouldn't count him out. So I'm not saying he's an 8-sack guy in year one, but if they can get his feet a little bit more refined and they get him coming off the ball a little hotter, I think it'll happen faster. So
I love. Hey,
yeah,
I
I think
love to hear
about,
that.
there's a lot to
Scott,
like, man.
real quick, I know it's kind of a random number, on the spot number. Do you think he could reach 4 sacks in year one?
Yeah.
Love that. I love to hear that.
I think there's any outcome, like, I think he can get to 4. I think that I mean, first he's got to get on the field. So we gotta see what he looks like in camp, and to see what kind of growth there is and that kind of stuff. But I think that and it's reasonable to think this because it's not like he's so raw that you feel like year one is just mailing it in. He's not to that level. I think there's enough to work with him where he can get on the field on first and second down and set the edge and be a physical player. And I think he will have opportunities, and then it's up to him. And to this point, the opportunities that have been put in front of him, he's kind of grabbed and ran with them. So I would not count him out at all. It's an incredible story.
Who do you have as well, Scott? Who do you think won the draft? Like, what team do you think went out there just out of all of them? We had talked about this last week on our show, and we actually had a handful of teams where we were kind of in between, like the Patriots, felt like the Giants. I think it was another team there. The Panthers, we felt like had a good draft. I can't remember if I missed any teams, but who did you have at the top of your list in the draft last week?
I thought the Titans had a good draft. And with you guys, I think the Patriots had a good draft. The Raiders had a really good draft, which is something that hasn't been uttered. Those words
I was going to say, yeah.
And I think the Jets did some good stuff too. Those 4 to me stood out as teams that did some good things.
Just real quick, I have a follow-up question after this, but who do you think had the worst draft?
Great follow-up.
Probably the Bengals, to be honest.
Really?
Oh.
Yeah. They took 2 off-ball linebackers, one in round 2 and one in round 4. They got Shamar Stewart at 17. So, as a player, obviously I really liked in the process, and then they took Taj Brooks from Texas Tech in round 6, but everything they did in between there, confusing.
Yeah. I think you look at this draft too for the Lions. Draft a lot of Bulldogs, a lot of Georgia guys. Yeah. Go on, Klotz.
No, I'm messing with you, Jeff. Keep going.
I was gonna say Dan Jackson. Klotzy's been this guy did a whole breakdown on Dan Jackson. Can you dive into what kind of player you think he could be? I know special teamer, obviously, but anything. What do they got in Dan Jackson, Scott?
He has really good instincts. He's very good coming forward. You can see him get out of his pedal or break from like a standing position because he understands where the ball is going, maybe a touch faster than everybody else. The only knock where I would say that it stands out on film with him is he does have really short arms, and it causes him to miss tackles. And I don't know how you fix that. Like, I'm sure that there are things that they can do. But I think you're going to have to live with some tackle issues with him, but everything else is solid. And for a 7th round pick, it's surprising that he fell this far. He's good size, 6'1", and I want to say in the 190, mid 190 range. He ran 4.45, fast, athletic, all that stuff, really good instincts. I think there's a natural assumption just to assume that he's a special teams player only, but as a 3rd rotation safety, kind of down the road player doing some of the things that like Melifonwu did last year, I could see that. It's not out of the realm for him to play to that kind of a role.
What about the another player I really like, Dominic Lovett, the receiver out of Georgia? He's smaller, quick, twitchy. They see him as more probably a Khalif Raymond type of player. And I know these are 7th round picks, so you take him with a flyer. But with his size, small, I'm surprised. He had decent production. He led Georgia in receiving yards. Yeah. Do you think that's someone that will just kind of be a special team player, or do you think eventually maybe he does have a little upside to maybe play that Khalif Raymond role if all things obviously go well?
I think that's the natural replacement for Khalif when Khalif is done, is Lovett to just step in and replace whatever you're getting from Khalif. I think the same thing. You can say the same thing about Tesla and Patrick. Is
right.
When Patrick is done, it's time for him to move on. They have a natural replacement, an upgraded kind of more explosive version of that. Where Lovett to me is the same thing as Khalif, where you're going to have to manufacture touches for him. I think he's a slot receiver only. I'm not sure that you'd really want to expose him to being outside and more physicality. But you can't have enough fast, weapons on offense and special teams and all that stuff. It is round 7. It's a flyer. We'll see what he looks like in camp. But I mean, he played a lot of big games against really good competition, and he was productive. I think he's just a little bit limited from a size standpoint, but he ran 4.4. So I think that whenever it's time for Khalif to move on, they have a natural replacement for him, and it's good to have known things, at any point when you're team building, and I think that's a lot of what the Lions did.
Yep. Well, good stuff, Scott. Appreciate you as always.
Great stuff.
I mean, the Ahmed call is just incredible. I mean, you know what? Just enjoy the offseason now. All right. You called Ahmed. I mean, Scott, you could just hang it up. You know what I mean? You could just
I've been thinking about it.
Yeah. I mean, that's just incredible. You can follow Scott on X at Bischoff_Scott, Detroit Lions NFL Draft Analyst at DetroitLionsPodcast.com. Scott, we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Thanks, guys. You guys have a good night.
There you
Appreciate
go.
it, Scott.
Scott Bischoff joining the fellas. And he's just, I mean, the Ahmed call was incredible. That reel thing's at like 50,000 right now. That's incredible. Yeah, that wasn't a first round call.
I love and hated what he had to say because he pumped up Tyreek as a pass rusher, but then he loved the Colson Loveland thing. And
I can tell too when Klotz,
good player. He'll have a solid 500-yard rookie yard season.
No,
receiving,
he won't.
I love
that Klotz. Jeff, I don't know if you
Ahmed Hassanin, dog food, Boone. That's what he is. Colson Loveland.
Are you done now?
Go for it.
I love how this guy Klotz, he just throws a question out there because he wants Scott to say it. He know in the back of his head he had no intention. Klotz had no intention of asking that question with the thought that Scott would like Colston Loveland. Like he was like, he's about to be on my side. Like I'm about to dunk on Booner, and then all of a sudden he goes, I love the Colston Loveland thing for the Bears. And it's like there it is.
No.
I tried to guarantee. I put a lock. I put a lock on Colston Loveland going to the top 15, and you were like, there is no way. This guy's just not that level. He's just not like that. Well, maybe it's because he wears the maize and blue, and you don't want to talk about
it. Hey, who did I want for the Lions more than anyone? My number one guy, Kenneth Grant.
Don't
Kenneth
care.
Grant. Where did I have Will Johnson going? Top.
You're gonna look dumb when Colston Loveland has a good year.
Saying that he can block is like, no, man. He's not a blocker. He's
all right.
He's a
you
weapon.
didn't watch, and I'm not going to call you out in a bad way. You didn't go and watch like Scott did and watch blocking film of Colston Loveland. I know for a fact. You're just saying it. You're just saying it to say it. You're just saying that to say that as a negative. You did not go, I'm going to go watch every blocking snap for Colston Loveland.
No, I did not watch every blocking snap. No.
You did not.
You know what I did?
You're throwing that out there to act like you sound like you can watch ball. You did not go watch his blocking snaps. I trust Scott over that.
Okay, that's bad. That's bad. That is bad.
I trust Scott. I think Scott's watched his blocking snaps.
I believe that Scott has as well. I believe that Scott has, but we watched that. Well, I want you to watch this vision in your mind, Boone. Colston Loveland.
Watch a vision about that.
This is what Aiden Hutchinson. You're telling me that's going to happen? You're going to tell me Sam Laporte, I watched throw Kenny Clark. First matchup in the match. Colston Loveland
15
blocking
other
Aiden
games.
Hutchinson. Colston Loveland blocking Rashawn Gary? No. Daniil Hunter? Van Ginkel? It's not happening.
Right.
He's not blocking those guys. And you drafted him in the top 10 where you draft guys who can block those guys if you're going to reach that far to get a tight end. Tyler Warren's blocking those guys better than Colston Loveland is.
Okay.
But Colston, I will say Colston Loveland, better receiver, obviously, than Tyler Warren.
Yes.
Better route runner, stuff like that. Yeah, I'm curious how that goes in Chicago. They got a bunch of weapons. Didn't really help. I mean, I don't know if they get pushed the needle for my Bears too in the NFC North case. I think Loveland helps it. But they need that DN2. They need that DN2 they signed to really be the answer. They do. But Can we get into JB getting snubbed? So the whole thing, and now I see on Twitter. So apparently this is a theme in Detroit sports, or it's been a theme over the last couple of years. So all the viewers that watch the Tigers, watch the Lions, watch the Pistons. There has been 3 snubs.
More than 3.
In the Pistons, I think you can argue there's probably 2 and 1. But regardless, Dan Campbell, he didn't get Coach of the Year they went 12-5. JB Bickerstaff didn't get Coach of the Year when they tripled their win total from the year prior. And AJ Hinch didn't win Manager of the Year when they essentially just had a very good pitching staff and little to no offense. And they made the playoffs, the postseason. So I think it was 3rd. So you have kind of 3 guys that got disrespectfully snubbed. And if you disagree with 1 or 2, whatever, but 3 guys that just didn't make the cut. And Malik Beasley put out 2, like no Pistons on the awards, Detroit versus everybody. I know that gets thrown around a lot, and sometimes it's for the wrong reasons. But I think for this, the Dan Campbell thing, not winning Coach of the Year, I'm not as upset with that. I think he's owed one at some point in his career. He's just that level of coach. I think he probably missed that opportunity because he should have won it in any of those 3 years when they started turning the team around. I thought Brian Dable was deserving of it the year they went 9-8, or I think that was the 12-5 year actually that he won Coach of the Year. But JB Bickerstaff, that one frustrates me because Kenny Atkinson is an excellent coach. I think that the win total for the Cavs, it's the 2nd highest of franchise history. Like, they did some great things in the regular season. I get that. But when you look at the definition of Coach of the Year and you look at the coaching job, the Pistons have significantly less talent than the Cavs, and they won. They were a playoff team locked in a playoff spot. And they tripled their win total from a team that had the worst losing streak of all time. I mean, like, this isn't like context here, boys. Like, this isn't just like, oh, they won 20 games. They were one of the worst teams we've probably ever seen in this.
They broke a franchise record.
Yeah, franchise-wise, yeah. In NBA history, they're up there for one of the worst.
Probably top
teams.
5 worst team of all time.
And he turns them around instantly, which, again, we'll get to Trajan because he didn't win Executive of the Year either. But this whole thing with the Detroit thing, man, all these guys getting disrespected. I think the JB one to me is the most egregious. The AJ Hinch thing, and then Dan. I mean, it go either way. But JB definitely to me deserved Coach of the Year. I think the job he did was, in my opinion, more impressive given he had less to work with in the turnaround from the season prior. Like, you can't take that away from him.
I think one of the, like, at least to me, one of the biggest things about it, and I know they're 3 different leagues, right? Like, they're all, different outlooks. But, like, when we talked about the Lions, right, with Dan Campbell, Jeff, what's the reason that you say, hey, the reason behind Dan not getting it is because a coach took a team that wasn't really supposed to be good, and Kevin O'Connell, and turned it into a team, a 15 or 14 win team, right? That no one expected to do that, and he turned it to that. The problem with me, or that I have with this, is, like, it's very inconsistent across all leagues, right? The Coach of the Year, MVP, all of these awards are, like, extremely inconsistent because it's like in the NFL, they do Coach of the Year based off of, hey, who took the worst team and had the best, put the worst opportunity and made the best of it. In the NBA, it's like, hey, let's just give it to one of the top 2 teams or win totals in the league, right? It's not like, hey, who took nothing and turned it into something. And it's the same thing in baseball, like with AJ Hinch. He took a team that had a 0.2% chance of making the playoffs at one point and took them to the playoffs. Right, like it was what historic. It's not even just like it was like a team does this every year. No, the Tigers thing last year was one of the most historic runs in Major League Baseball history. Like, it's never like it may have happened 1 or 2 other times, but like statistically, it was like no one's ever seen this happen before. So like when you look at it like that, and then what they do, they give it to the Guardians coach, I think, who they were like 3rd in the MLB. With total wins. So it's just like, all right, so you're just giving it to one of the best teams in managers, right? Like, I think it's just the inconsistency. It's where, all right, if Dan's not going to get it because they want to give it to, the media wants to give it to a coach that took nothing and turned it into something. Okay, then let's look at the other 2 leagues and the media voting for that as well. why aren't you doing that for those other leagues too? And I know they're different voters and all of that, but it's just like the consistency of it. Because if you do break it down, like AJ Hinch doing a 0.2% chance to the playoffs, you will never see that in the Major League Baseball ever again. And then JB Bickerstaff, literally a 14-win team, probably a top 5 team, worst team of all time, franchise record worst team of all time, and taking them to the 6th seed. It's like you can't argue it. You can't. And if there was any sort of like pebble of a brain inside of some of these voters and they had any sort of journalistic integrity, JB Bickerstaff, Dan Campbell, and AJ Hinch, as crazy as it sounds, Detroit should have had 3 coaches of the years in 2024-25. Like, that's just a fact. I don't think there's anything behind it. You can argue the Dan Campbell thing, but they should have at least won 2 of the 3. And I don't think there's any question behind it. I really don't. Like, it's actually shocking to me that not even one coach out of those 3 teams didn't win Coach of the Year after the 3 seasons that those teams had. Like, it's actually shocking. They need to figure out something inside of those brains or the voting or something, because the media surely isn't doing it justice. It's crazy to me.
Yeah, I don't have too much to add outside of what you boys said. I mean, at least walking away with 1 would be respectful. But they've spit on the face of the city. It's all right. These teams are going to be very good for a long time, and they'll see that these are type of Coach of the Year candidates, and they'll still probably never get one. Like Dan Campbell, I doubt will ever get a Coach of the Year if he didn't get one in the last 2 years. JB Bickerstaff, they're going to be really good next year. Probably still won't get it. Probably go to Boston or Cleveland or New York. It'll go to a bigger market type of team. But at the end of the day, these teams are going to be good for a long time. So who gives a shit? These coaches
I think
will be nice, but
the AJ Hinch and JB, I think those are more significant than Dan. I think Dan you could argue he could have won it. We've argued about it. You know, I thought Kevin O'Connell was deserving of it, but it's not like it was this egregious, like, by a stretch thing. I mean, but they all had arguments, and to your point, Boone, at least 2 of the 3 should have gotten it.
I mean, even just
0
one,
is crazy. 0,
just
yeah.
one,
I mean,
especially when you look at
crazy.
the significance, especially of the Pistons and the Tigers seasons of going from 14 wins to the 6th seed and from 0.2% chance to the playoffs. Like, you don't look at that and not one of those stories as a coach, you look at it and go, oh, that what, like. Yep, you have to reward that. Like, especially in the league, like, you want to reward greatness and people working and kind of, and you're just not going to reward it at all. Like, and the fact too, like the Pistons going from 14 to this, and the fact that they didn't have, like, you know, Malik Beasley doesn't win 6th man of the year, Cade doesn't even win most improved. Trajan Langdon doesn't win executive of the year. But my point is just like, you have a team that went from 14 to 6th seed, and you don't have one award on those teams, and they're all finalists, right? Like, there should be one player. I don't know. Maybe that's just me being a slappy, and in my mind, I'm like, hey, give Detroit some love. But I
think Trajan should have been in more of a serious competition. I think Sam Presti's been top of the league for a while. I mean, the guy's just it's like, okay, he gets executive of the year. He's one of the best executives in the league. But Trajan, again, it goes back to the JB argument. I think the most improved thing, the thing that I hate with this most improved award, just my opinion, is they used to, and they corrected it this year, but it's always these players that are really good that just have better years. Like, I don't think that's most improved. I think you have to look at a player that's like came out of nowhere. Yeah. Like Bryson Daniels, like, that was, when it was happening, I was like, no way this guy doesn't win it. And then there was the Cade thing, and I love Cade, but I'm like, I don't know if he's most improved. You already knew he was that guy.
I don't know if Tyrese Maxey won it a couple years ago, but he came out of nowhere at one point.
Yeah.
He was just like, whoa, he was like a star.
Dyson went from a role player to a starting, one of the best defenders, averaging like 15 a game. Like, you know, that kind of, I think he was averaging like 8-7 a year. And then he just doubled his points. So, but yeah, shocking. The JB and Trajan thing was a little disrespectful, you know. And it all happens. Hey, you get to see these power rankings before the year for all these teams, and then you get to see where they're ranked.
Hey,
go on.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was saying, at the end of the day, none of the awards really matter. It's really just like win a championship.
It's just
I could care less.
You know,
hey, it's about respect.
Yeah, it's about respect. I mean, come on here, you know. And speaking of respect, let me show you these power rankings. Okay, ESPN came out with their power ranking list. This is post-draft, post-free agency, where they have teams in the NFL and where they're ranked. You guys, I want everyone in the chat to guess. Who's number one? Who would you put number one? Post NFL draft, post free agency. Who's the number one team? Who should be here? And then answer that, and then where the line should be ranked. Because I was shocked when I saw who they had number one post free agency, post draft. I did not expect this team to be number one. Okay. And there's already a bunch of Eagles being typed.
I think number one, it should be a clear number one.
But, well, you're wrong. It's the Kansas City Chiefs. Okay. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, yeah. They are number one. Oh, here we go. Kansas City, number one, according to ESPN, most improved position, wide receiver. They mentioned my guy Jalen Royals in there, which I think is a really good pick. But really, the Chiefs, number one? Post free agency? What? What are we doing here? I mean, what? And then number two, the Eagles?
Yeah.
All right. Can we say it? Can I? All right. I'll wait. Maybe
No. What is it about?
I was just going to say, I think like out of, maybe this is just a Booner out of pure respect. I think 1 and 2 should be the Eagles, Chiefs, just out of respect. Return like they're both coming out of the Super Bowl. I think like the Eagles, I'll say this. I wrote down the ads for each team. If you do a power rankings, I'm gonna tell you this again, just like I said with the media and the last thing, and you don't have the Eagles number one, you need to be checked out for CTE or something. Like you need to be put into a mental institute, and we need to figure out what's going on with you. Because like, all right, they lose Josh Sweat, right? Brandon Graham, Darius Slay, CJ, GJ, Milton Williams. You guys see who they added? Did you guys? I think it, not even just in the draft, but free agency. Azeez Ojulari, Josh Uche, Adoree Jackson, AJ Dillon. Like those are like their top. Those are some pretty big, like those are dudes. And then they get Ty Robinson, your guy Small Molden or
Munden. Yep.
Small Munden, Jahad Campbell. Like this is the number one team in football right now, right? Like they just won the Super Bowl. They're the team to beat. And they lost pieces, yes, but they also added some significant pieces. And I like you can be mad with the Chiefs. I think just Chiefs should be too. Like they have the same team as they went to the Super Bowl with. I don't really think they lost a ton, maybe offensive lineman, but they draft Josh Simmons. You know, they get back Rashee Rice. Hollywood Brown's going to be healthy. They still have all the weapons. Like I just think 1 and 2 is just it's a no brainer. 1 and 2 is just Eagles Chiefs, but Chiefs should not be number one. Should not be.
Well, the Eagles are 2, so I mean, you know, they got Jahad Campbell, which
I mean, how do you think that?
Yeah, well, I watched the Eagles. They do this like inside the thing we talked about yesterday, where they do the inside the draft like process. I watched it. The Eagles,
it was great.
It's amazing. Like Howie Roseman in that room is he's relentless. Like that's the word of the week. Actually, relentless. This dude is like constantly trying to move. I mean,
he's telling the owner, he's like, I'm trying.
Yeah, and he got Jahad Campbell, which is a really good pick for them. And then they have the Lions at number. No, they don't. Bills, here we go. Your Buffalo Bills are third.
Who'd you say your? Who are you talking to with your?
No, I'm kidding. The Buffalo Bills are third, yes. And they drafted TJ Sanders, Landon Jackson, and Deion Walker.
They brought Joey Bosa in.
They added some dudes in the trenches. They really did. So the Bills at 3. What do we think about this one, huh? Is this fair? Bills over the Lions?
Can I be honest with you boys? As far as I think Bills should be 2. I think going into this year, I think that the Bills are a better team than the Kansas City Chiefs. And I respect what you're saying, Boone. That's why it's like if you want to put 2 teams coming out the Super Bowl, because the Chiefs didn't get worse. Like it's not like, oh, huge drop off. But if you're asking me, like heading into next season, like best team in the AFC, I'm taking the Bills before I would take the Chiefs. I think the Bills at 3. As a Lions fan, I do not have an issue with that. No issue.
Yeah. I think I wrote it down. Like I just think the top 5 or 4, it is what it is. And if you want to be interchangeable, like I think the Eagles number 1, and then Chiefs, Bills, Lions, I think are the next 3. And I think if you want to interchange them how you want, okay, like I'm not going to sit here and bang the table and get mad if you have the Bills 2 or the Bills 4 and the Lions 3 or Lions 2. Like, I think it's that close. Like, especially in the offseason when you're looking at, like, all right, who has the better roster? It's like a healthy – I don't think anyone can argue this. A healthy Detroit Lions roster, you could argue is the best roster in the NFL, right? It's like the number one roster. I think the only reason you would hesitate putting them number 1 or number 2 is because of Ben Johnson and AG departing, right? Like, I think that's the biggest argument, in my opinion, that you can have with them. So, yeah, I think the top 4 should just be the top 4.
Well, they actually had the Bills after the offseason jumping the Lions, because the Lions are 4th, but you see there were 3.
Yeah.
And they jumped down to 4. So the draft, I guess, had something to do with it, I would assume. I mean, post-free agency ranking, they were 3rd. Now they're 4th.
To be fair, the Bills had bigger, like, they had holes to legit fill. Like, I know the Lions, you could argue edge, but, like, they needed to go get someone to get to the quarterback at the end of the day. Like, they needed a corner, and they got Maxwell Hairston. Like, there were some, like, legit defensively, like, Klotz, remember your argument last year with the season with the Bills was just always the defense. Like, going into the year, like, they got rid of all these guys on defense, and they found a way to get by for the year and almost have a chance to beat the Chiefs. But, like, yeah, you run into injuries, but, like, they add Joey Bosa. They go get Landon Jackson. You know, they got a who was the defensive tackle they got? They got a big-time defensive tackle in the draft as well.
Oh, Deion.
Yeah.
And you got Deion and TJ Sanders.
And then you get Maxwell Hairston. You desperately needed a corner, and you got that. So, I mean, it was just like they had probably bigger needs. That's why I would think they would be behind the Lions before, but they literally went and drafted the needs, and they got some dudes.
I think this is just I think I'm not going to argue too much with the ranking. I think it's just a case of probably, you know, people looking at the Lions draft and they're like, you know, it's like the Athletic gave the Lions.
That's just so disrespectful.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, you took Tyleek, you took Tate Ratledge, you know, you took Isaac Tesla. It's like, these guys, you know, all right, you know, they're good. But then you look back in 2-3 years and, you know, they're even better players, and this power ranking really doesn't matter. It kind of comes down to that, but they're a top 4 team. I mean, look behind them. I think the Ravens were 5, and they stayed put, so they didn't move up, they didn't move down.
I'm kind of tired of the Ravens. They did, but I'm just said the other day, they just keep doing the same thing, and they just keep losing in the playoffs. It's like, at what point are you gonna, like, as a fan or a GM, be like,
yeah,
come on now.
Let's switch something up here.
And but they are in the AFC, so that's fair. But that is a reality. Like the Bills, they keep just losing short. You just can't get to the Super Bowl. It happens to teams. You know what I mean? It's hard enough to be in the conversation. It's even harder to get over the top. Like the 49ers didn't win one. So I don't know. We're not getting into that today. I know.
You see the 49ers on this list?
The 49ers on this
list. They were like
list,
15th.
Yeah.
It's like shockingly low.
Yep.
They'll reload this year. They're going to be back next year. They'll figure out a way.
The Rams are 7th.
The Rams are 7th, yeah.
That's where, but boys, I don't know if we want to get into it too far.
No,
that's why I was kind of laughing, because I know this is going to piss Booner off so much.
You already do. I mean, I already knew it's wrong, but it's fine. If you're asking
me, I think the Rams are a top 4 team in the NFL going into 2025, and they're in front of the Detroit Lions. And with this is bro. And when you're talking about on paper, the Detroit Lions are better. I will give you that 10 times out of 10. They have the more talented team. But you cannot argue that Sean McVay is a huge, huge advantage that the Detroit Lions do not have. The Rams have been to a Super Bowl, have won the Super Bowl, and have got significantly better, in my opinion, with the skill players and just adding Devontae Adams to the Cooper Cup, adding Terrence Ferguson in the draft, and making that offensive line a little bit better. That defense is naturally going to get better. And I know it's like, when you look at what they have to do this year compared to what they had to do last year, the Rams are in a much better spot. I think the Detroit Lions, talent-wise, are very similar, but coaching is why I think it's close. But I think the Rams are a better team going into 2025 right now than the Detroit Lions.
I don't know how to approach this conversation, boys, without being disrespectful. Like, with all due respect, I think that might be one of the dumbest things I've heard this offseason. The dumbest. And I know you're a ball knower. You're a ball knower. No, they won't be. And I love you, Klotz. This is one of those moments. This is like last year, the recency bias of the Bills last year. This is your recency bias of the Lions, them losing and not realizing and actually thinking a little bit and saying, hey, maybe they had 30 guys on IR. Hey, maybe this team, and if the coach thing you can say it, but you're not going to say that one coach, as much as you want to push Sean McVay all you want, guess what? Sean McVay has not beaten the Lions in years. Sorry, didn't want to throw that out there. You can roll your eyes with that one all you want. But the Lions have dominated the Rams the last 2 seasons, right? And you could say, oh, Devontae Adams and Sean McVay all you want. The Lions are healthy now, Klotzy. Like, they're going to be healthy. I don't know if you knew that. Guys are back. This roster is full. And if you believe this roster is better than the Rams, Dan Campbell's going to have this team ready to go, just like he beat Sean McVay 2 straight seasons and in the playoffs. I don't know what else you want. If you want to keep dying on the Rams hill, because last year going into the first week, you're like, oh, they're going to lose. Sean McVay, they're going to finally get him. In the playoffs, you're like, I'm a little worried, boys. They beat him. Earlier in the year, or I think it was the year before, they beat him.
They didn't play in the playoffs. But
come on now.
My point is, Booner, and
they didn't play in the playoffs?
It had the Lions and Rams did.
2 years ago? Yeah, they did.
You said they played in the playoffs.
I'm talking about. I went from the opening weekend to before.
I thought that the Lions were going to beat them going into the playoffs the first year. I said I was going to be worried, and let's stop saying that the Lions dominated the Rams. Both those games came down to the wire.
They beat them like what, 3 straight games?
When the Lions,
Sean McVay hasn't beat the Lions in years.
You had your 30. You had your
30. Oh yeah, I forgot. We go back and forth here. We got to mute.
You can
over each other.
I let you breeze through, but at least let me get.
Sorry for hurting your feelings. Sorry for the chat for hurting feelings.
My feelings are fine. I'm feeling the same as I was going into this. When you look at the Rams, look at what the Rams were finishing off as last year. They were, without a doubt, and with the Lions being hurt, I'm saying the second best team in the NFC. The second best team in the NFC. When the Lions were healthy last year, week 1. That was it. And Puka Nacua got hurt in the second quarter. That game came down to the wire. And the Rams were obliterated.
Hold on, time out. No.
That
was 35 seconds.
These teams are not that far off to begin with, and the Rams have proven it. The Lions have not proven it yet. That comes with coaching.
Stop real quick. Let's not take my one word dominate. Okay, I'll take dominate away. Let's not take my one word. And the same with the chat, with half of the chat who is on my side, by the way, who's going to take the dominant word. Let's not let that word overshadow the fact that you're trying to say that the Los Angeles Rams are going to be better than the Detroit Lions this year. That's blasphemy. That's wrong. It's not going to happen. They're not going to be the number 1 seed. And yes, they have a good team. They're a top 3 team in the NFC. You could argue I had them at 6 in my power rankings in the NFL currently. But we're not going to sit back and just disrespect what the Detroit Lions have done over the last 2 years and built. And just because they had injuries, they had 15 wins with injuries. And now everyone returns this year, and you're going to sit here and say, oh, man, that Devontae Adams thing really put them over the top, man. That really did. That one move made them better than the Lions.
Because it solidifies a weapon that they needed to be to that upper echelon team that they've been lacking in consistency with injury. It's like it's not the same because the Eagles weren't to that Super Bowl level yet, but it's that A.J. Brown, and it's different players, but it solidifies like, hey, you have 2 options now that you can just wheel and deal with. And Kyron Williams, he needs that because when they're just trying to feed Kyron, he's not Kyron. But when now you have Devontae, you're going to have Puka, you're going to have 2 top 10 wide receivers, and that defense, we saw how good it was last year. And then you add Sean McVay into that. There's nothing not to love about what the LA Rams are doing.
Klotz,
it's
your point.
What they are.
Sorry, I zoned out there.
How good Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn are. I'm sorry, but that's going to take a step back, in my opinion.
Your point is your point that the Rams are going to be.
LA is getting better, and their talent got better. Lions, you cannot say the same. Talent stayed the same. Coaching got worse just by default of Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn leaving.
I got nothing. I mean, every time I talk, he talks over me, and then I try and talk, and then the chat goes.
No,
I
let you talk, Boone.
There, he just did it again. And then the chat goes, "Oh, Booner's talking over him again." When the guy just keeps talking over me, it's a lose-lose situation for me. Even everyone's on my side with the Lions being better than the Rams, and I'm still somehow the bad guy. So,
Jeff, did I let Booner talk?
No, but it's okay.
All right.
I agree that the Rams are going to be good. The Rams are going to be good. That's far from the fact. But they're not going to be better than the Detroit Lions this year. Maybe because of their strength of schedule, they'll have more wins. But that's the only argument. The only argument. You can't say that on paper and the team is better. You
know what the big question mark to me for the Rams is? And I hate saying it because I love the player. It's Matthew Stafford.
He's a great quarterback.
He's just he is a great quarterback, but he's also 37 years old. You know, in the last 2 years, he was good against the Eagles in the playoffs. He played a really good game, but he just hasn't looked like Super Bowl Matthew the last 2 years. You know what I mean? He just hasn't really.
Devontae Adams will do it for him. Don't worry.
Yeah,
like in the playoff, did we not watch the Rams in the playoffs?
No, he looked good in the playoffs.
Stafford looked like Stafford in the playoffs. The Rams started off very slow, and then they turned around because Stafford started balling.
True,
but I think that's your franchise quarterback as he should.
Yeah, and I think that's just the reality for it. I got to see what Stafford I'm getting, you know, and I know you'll get a great Stafford come the playoffs, but. You know, his ability, you got to stay healthy too with Stafford. You know, he gets banged up through the season now. He's not a young guy anymore.
Even the year before, Jeff, to that point, like in the playoffs versus the Lions destroyed him in the playoff game. He was hurt. There was multiple times where there was like, is he going back in the game? And it's like, okay, we'll play Stafford and the Rams again in the postseason. Guess what we're going to do? We're going to throw everything we can at Matthew Stafford and blitz him and try. And he's just going to get hurt. And you all of a sudden have the advantage. Like I think it's going to be they're going to have a great team, and defensively they're really good. And adding Devontae Adams is good. Yeah, like everything that's where it's like it's not. I had them again. They're top 6 in the NFL right now. That's not bad, but it's just like above teams that have done it the last couple of years, and especially a Lions team coming off a 15-win season when half of their team's injured. It's like you really like. If you're going to give the Bills as much credit, Klotz, or the Eagles or the Chiefs, the Lions deserve just as much credit as those teams based off of the last 2 years. Is same with those teams.
That's not true at all. Like the Chiefs and Eagles have won Super Bowls. The Bills have made it to AFC Championship games. The Lions have made it to one.
Sorry, the Lions didn't.
The Lions got to 1 and then they got bounced in the first round. So we can't put them into that same category with or without injuries.
So the Bills you'll throw in there though. That's the thing. It's let's get consistent.
The Bills have been this close for a long time. If the 49ers were what the 49ers were last year, I would put them in that same conversation with the Bills. The Bills just keep running into Patrick Mahomes.
The Bills went to one championship game in 4 years.
The Bills run into Patrick Mahomes. They run into Joe Burrow. The Lions aren't running into that. The Lions are up in the NFC Championship game and blowing a lead. And then they are getting, because of injuries, have a huge part of it. But then like Jared Goff throwing 5 interceptions in the divisional round at home as the number 1 seed in a game that the Lions were favored heavily in. Like that's not the same as the Bills, in my opinion, or the Eagles, or the Chiefs, or the Rams.
I know. Looking back, you know, we can let the season play out, and just like when you said the Bills weren't going to make the playoffs last year, we can see this year how we'll see, and you'll be held accountable. Lions-Rams situation it is very well noted.
They play them this year, right?
They do, but it really doesn't matter. All that matters is end of season. Playoffs. That's all that matters.
But you know, if they beat the Rams, they're going to come
out. No, to be honest, again, regular season means nothing in this conversation.
Well, you just used the regular season though, because they beat them week 1. You're like and
in the playoffs as well. They beat them in the playoffs as well.
They did.
It's both. Like they beat them the last 2 times they faced off. And to me, it's like the playoffs this year. Like if we're talking about who's going to be better this season. Who goes farther in the playoffs?
I agree. Like, I think I would take the Lions over the Rams.
I don't think it has anything to do with anything in the regular season or seeding. I don't care who gets a 1 seed because there's strength of schedule. I think it comes down to mano a mano, who gets farther in the playoffs.
Johnny Morton versus Sean McVay.
Klotz has the Rams in the Super Bowl. We might have the Lions. Fair enough.
No,
How it
Klotz,
stands. Like if I don't think the Lions are better than a team, I'm not just, and I'm not saying you guys are, but when I look at those two teams, like in my opinion, it's not a fact, it's not objective. In my opinion, not in Jeff's or in Booner's opinion, I just look at that Rams team, and I get on paper the Lions look better, but I think on the field, like through 18 games in the playoffs, to Booner's point, I think the Rams are going to be better this year.
well, there's some free agents that could help the Lions. And Pride of Detroit came out with a little article suggesting some players that the Lions could sign. And one of those guys, free agents, the Lions could be looking at, Zadarius Smith is on this list. Doesn't ever just fail to entertain me when I see Big Z on a list. So that's the obvious one. I actually forgot DeMarcus Walker, the pass rusher.
Yeah.
They've already hosted him.
They brought him in.
They didn't sign him.
I think.
So that's kind of interesting. I don't know what's going on with DeMarcus Walker, but they have edges on here. They have Zadarius, they have DeMarcus Walker, who they've already met with in April. They didn't end up signing, but he's a free agent. And then they also have Von Miller on this list as well. Von Miller. Speaking of the Rams.
There you go, Klotzy, Rams. There you go. There's your guy, your team, the Rams.
There's your guy, Klotz. 36-year-old Von Miller. I just heard Shift God put in the chat, JPP, Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah, he came out.
36 years old. He just put out there, missing a finger. He said, I could still play some ball at 36 years old. So never know. Maybe JPP could come in and give a little bit of juice. Who knows? But they have they got Von Miller, Judon on here, which those are the obvious, and those are the obvious ones. But they also have safeties as well.
Mm-hmm.
Marcus Williams is on here, which I forgot he was cut, right? He was cut?
Yeah, he was brutal last season.
Justin Simmons is also on here.
I can't believe he's a free agent still.
Rayshawn Jenkins.
Scrappy. Scrappy little player.
Marcus May is on here, who was with the Saints, and that is the free agents. Is there anyone that stands out to you, fellas? I mean, the safety. I feel like they should probably be in for a safety. Honestly, if they
need to get one, right?
Like any of these guys, like I don't know, Justin Simmons. He's probably he probably wants to start and play a lot somewhere. But like Rayshawn Jenkins, Marcus May. Oh, he did have a DUI incident. Never mind.
Yeah, there's no way. He has zero money off the field.
Rayshawn Jenkins, Klotzy, you said Scrappy. Who the hell?
Rayshawn, hey, that's a little ball player now because he was in Jacksonville because he was in Seattle. He's in Jacksonville, but in Jacksonville, like he was creating turnovers. But none of those safeties intrigue me. But I put something out on our Twitter, like if we're looking for safeties and people that were actually good last year. Quandre Diggs is still out there as a free agent. Bring Quandre Diggs back, okay? He fits exactly what you need. He's an in-the-box safety that's also good in zone coverage. He was good against the run last year. He just got released in Tennessee probably because he was like, I have no desire to be here at this point. Either way, when you look at he wasn't a bum at all. Like, he had 43 tackles in 8 games, and he only had 2 missed tackles. He's probably not as good as coverage as he was. Like, he was a guy that was getting 5 interceptions per year, but he's not at that level. But against the run, he's still very solid. So he's somebody you throw in the box. Brian Branch, you can just leave him at safety if you want to. Put Quandre Diggs just as a run support guy in the nickel spot. I don't see, he's not going to be commanding a lot of money. He's been here before. He understands what Detroit was as far as a losing culture. Older guy, he's a vet, but he knows good winning football. He's a Pro Bowl level guy in Seattle. And he would be better than Jamal Adams. They brought Jamal Adams in the middle of the season. Quandre Diggs right now is no Jamal Adams. He's not the old Quandre Diggs, but he can still play some ball, boys.
I'm interested to see in safety what they do, to be honest, because you can't bring a guy in who wants a lot of snaps because you have Brian and Kirby. And then if you're talking about the nickel too, you have a Meek who, you're probably going to throw in there. So it's like there's really not room to move around unless someone gets hurt. Like if there's an injury, and that's kind of what you're sitting back on. Like, is Quandre going to want to come in and be like, hey, your only chance to get on the field is probably when guys need some rest or if someone gets injured. Like, will he do that? I don't know. That's the only question I have with that. And the same thing, like Justin Simmons, I think is completely out just based off of that. And I know James in the chat said Avonte Maddox would be the backup safety. So I don't know. I'm interested. It feels weird that I thought they were going to draft a safety just based off of getting another guy in the building because of that depth in the safety position. If you get one guy to go down, who's next man up? Like there are some dudes,
they got a next man up, Klotzy.
You need to find someone. Who's
Dan
that?
Jackson.
Oh, Dan
Come on
Jackson.
now.
Hey, DJ, don't sleep. Yeah, Quandre, he had a Liz Frank injury last year, which is pretty significant. So, but he was
that's
injured in
probably-
November.
At
and I'm
that
not-
age, I don't know. At the age, I guess it depends. How old is he? Like 34?
32.
32. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it
He's
depends
not
on
extinct. He's got a year left.
No.
Let's see-
no.
let's
coming
see
off
what
a
he's got.
coming
So
off a
come in-
major
come in
injury
camp.
though.
Coming
Hey,
in camp. Hey,
Brad might.
don't
Yeah,
gotta
he
play
loves his
a lot of
injuries,
ball.
guys.
Don't gotta
He
play a lot of
loves-
ball. Don't gotta
Right.
play a lot of ball. Just gotta win a win, Win a ring, Quandre. That's all you gotta do. That's all you
Then,
gotta do.
then you're for you then, Klotzy, Quandre should go join the Rams.
We're not doing this, Boone. I
No,
want
they
the Lions
don't
to
need him.
win.
They
That's
got
why I'm
Cameron
not pounding the
Kitchens.
table like all the
They got
Rams. Like,
hey, Cam Kitchens is. Hey, I like
No,
him,
he's
man.
him.
Out of Miami, he's a dog. Dude.
Yeah,
they got
he's-
good players over there, man.
he's a really good
I
player.
know you know that, but
I'd be open to Quandre. If you could sign like another edge and a safety, or maybe they think Maddox can is that safety right now, which could be the case. I mean, you're pretty much like, let's just roll into camp with this. You know what I mean? Let's just roll. I'm
Yeah.
comfortable. That's all. It's really all you need. It's like patching up a little bit. It's not like you're at a desperate point, but
Can we have the conversation, Matthew Judon? At some point, it just has to happen, right? Like,
yeah, pivot from Za'Darius and be like, hey, Judon, how much you want?
it's going to be way cheaper than Za'Darius Smith. I'm sure. I don't know the significance of the price range, but I know a lot of people. Hey, Matthew Judon's old. He's old, but like him to Za'Darius, like the price is going to be probably night and day different, right? Especially like for Matthew Judon coming off a bad year. And I don't think Matthew, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't think Matthew Judon's as bad as he was in 2024. Like, I think that he was coming off a major injury, trying to get back into the things, a Falcons team that really wasn't at that level yet. And he's trying to find his way and just didn't really get in a rhythm. He still had 6 sacks though. Like he still went out there and produced a little bit, but he wasn't the Matthew Judon of old, to where it's like, hey, you bring him in and he ends up being 50% of what he was in 2022. Two or three seasons ago? I mean, at the price range, it makes sense, man.
Yeah, but
he wasn't that good. Like last year's PFF grades were terrible.
Yeah, but
in Atlanta, but
that's the thing. It's like the Tesla thing. It's like, Arkansas's offense. It's like Atlanta had the worst pass rush in the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I get you could say, well, Judon was a part of that, but like he didn't really have any help there.
that's where you get into a spot though. Like with Judon, it's like you know what he could do before he gets injured. He played 4 games, had 4 sacks, and then in 2022, I mean, the man had a good pass rush grade. He had not a great, but a good run defense grade, and he had 15.5 sacks. Like 2 seasons ago, the man had 15.5 sacks, and then 4, and then gets hurt, and then has 6. So it's like I don't understand why he's not signed yet. I know it's because the drop off, but you should be able to get him at a good price. Like if Za'Darius is out, I would say, hey, go get Matthew Judon. It doesn't hurt to grab a guy like that and bring him in the building at all, especially as a vet.
Shout out to the super chats. William, appreciate the $5. Says, hey, let's talk about edge. UDFA Keith Cooper Jr. from Houston.
I tried finding some. I honestly, it's just I'm imagining they look at like his build and like say, hey, give him a flyer. Like I even tried like looking like film's hard to find on Keith Cooper Jr.
Yeah, he had 3.5 sacks last year at Houston.
They're like he's the build that they want. He's a thicker guy, like power rusher type of guy.
Yeah. But appreciate that, William. Rando, appreciate the $5. He says, could you guys see DC using linebackers in secondary to blitz quarterbacks? I mean, they've been doing that.
Yeah.
They've been doing that, Rando. And yeah, you can, especially Campbell. That's kind of what he specializes in. He's really good. He's a good blitzer. And Brian Branch and Amik, these guys can just do that. So, yeah, absolutely do we expect to see more of that.
Think about the iffy stuff. How much iffy is going.
Iffy, exactly. Coda, appreciate the $10. He says, the boys should predict the Lions schedule that comes out next week and see who gets the most right. And Boone needs to put the baller knower hat on the line. You're not a champ until you defend the belt.
The belt gets defended once a year. Every draft, the belt gets defended. So
there we go.
We have to wait until next year. It's like any other belt. The championships once a year, man.
Well, we could try and predict the schedule. I don't think that's you know what? It comes out next week. Maybe we'll do something with that.
Yeah, I think it's the 14th or 15th.
Yeah. Yeah, we could do something like that.
Come on.
But you know what, though, fellas? Speaking of defending, we got a battle today, and it's not defending because it's a tied series. It's a tied series. So I'm not technically defending anything yet. I think it's 2-2, right, in the series.
I believe it is. It got tied up.
Oh, it is. Oh, we're talking about trivia. Okay, yeah.
I could see Boone's face was so confused.
I was trying to figure out what Jeff was talking about. My brain was working overtime.
Well,
I got to go grab my paper.
It's that time, ladies
Come
and
on now.
where the crunch time Trivia Tuesday. Our host for today, Lucas, tell the people what we're doing.
Welcome back to Crunch Time Trivia Tuesdays. Today edition, folks. Jeff, Booner. It will be 2025 NFL Draft Trivia. Both Detroit Lions and a couple that are just NFL in general, but the boys tied up 2-2. Been some interesting topics, but mostly football related. We dabbled in some March Madness. We're now going to do 2025 Crunch Draft. I can't talk right now, fellas. 2025 Draft Trivia. Crunch Time Trivia. So let's get into it. Boone's getting his paper. But we'll get the questions out. Best of 10. And there will be one bonus question where it'll be the best out of 5. I'll give a question. It'll be the 11th question. The most accurate out of 5 will get the final win, given this 3-2 series lead. But Boone, I don't know what he's doing. I'll get the questions pulled up. Won't have it figured out yet. Okay.
Real quick. So I have my notebook that I write a lot of notes in. It's almost full, actually. So I got to get a new one.
Come on.
Who wrote my notebook? Who did that?
Bro, no. You know what? I think that's
Who?
not.
Who did that?
We need to see it again.
Bro, what is that? Bro, take that off the screen. What are you doing? Putting that up? We're gonna get demonetized. What are you doing?
Who did that?
You know you can't
That's
show that.
great work, I will say.
Bro, you can't show that stuff on YouTube. We might get a strike for that. Oh my! I go to get my stuff. I come back. What are you doing?
Who wrote my journal?
Dude, that has to be a you kind of job there, bro.
Oh, it's
watch it. Watch it be
definitely a job. It ain't something. It ain't.
I can't believe you just showed that on YouTube, bro.
That's so funny.
That's man. Whoever did that, you're a sick son of a bitch, man. All right, I think that might have been Gentry.
That has to be a Gentry.
I just flipped through the page to do trivia, and that's the shit I have to look at. You sick fucks. All right.
I can't believe you just showed that.
You're
I
all
just came
sick.
back.
You're all sickos.
My
All
bad,
right.
boys. I had to go to the bathroom.
Boone,
I drank a whole one of these throughout the whole show so far. We're only 90 minutes in.
I need to see, boys. I need to grab water too.
How many is it? This is one liter. I drank a 1 liter water today, or just in the last 90 minutes.
There you go. Yeah, that's
I had to go to the bathroom.
I don't know if that was a strategy to throw off trivia. Whoever wrote that, I don't know. I'm a little shooken from that.
I can confirm that was not me.
Was that you, Klaus? That was you.
And I would need to see it again because I know
I'm not showing you again.
Yeah, that's.
It would be something me and Unc would do, like probably like during one of the live streams if we were off to the side, like eating.
That's an Unc move for sure.
I mean,
that screams Michael Gentry.
All right,
fellas. Question number 1. Boone, you heard the topic.
What? NFL draft
trivia. Yep. 10
All
questions.
Right.
Some mostly Detroit Lions. Some just broad NFL draft trivia. But question number 1, fellas. There'll be a couple gimmies. Get warmed up. It's not just gonna be all difficult.
Can we keep? Oh yeah, that's fine.
That's you do. Hey, trust me.
I was gonna say let's put the host in the middle, but that makes sense. Hey, that's why you're a dog over there.
Trust your boy. All right, what the hell is this?
The Detroit Lions traded up in the 2nd round for Hog Molly Tate Ratledge out of Georgia. What number did Ratledge wear in
Turn off the chat, Boone.
At Georgia?
Oh yeah, my bad.
Oh, he's on. Look at it.
I didn't see it. I know the answer of this. Let me just write it down real quick. I already know the answer because of. I don't want to give it to you, but this is like the most obvious Tate Ratledge number.
Oh, I bet it is now. son of a.
I listen. I just shut the chat off.
I shouldn't
Listen,
even
I
say
was
nothing.
on
You
a
would've
cleanse.
kept going.
You know what? This is on me too because I was on a chat cleanse, and I love everybody. I was on a chat cleanse for 2 weeks. The draft interrupted it, and I got to start it again because I went off on the chat today, and I don't want to be doing that. I love the chat. ELE Booner. That's on me. That's on me. Hand up. That's on me. Chat. I love you guys so much, more than you know.
All right, I got my answer.
All right, fellas.
Me too. It's just obvious,
Answers
Jeff.
in 3, 2, 1.
69.
The answer is B, 69. Big 6'9", coming out of Georgia with the mullet. Come on, how can you not love it? Question number 2, fellas are both 1 for 1.
Yeah.
Another gimme. How many picks did the Detroit Lions trade up to draft Isaac White Lightning Tesla? A, 32, B, 30, C, 27, or D, 35?
Got it.
Got
Locked
Yep.
in 3, 2, 1.
A 32.
Answer is A, 32. Good job, fellas. Both 2 for 2 in the first questions. Now it's going to get a little bit more difficult. There will be still some easy ones in here. Question number 3. What state was 5th round steal Miles Frazier born in? A, Florida, B, Georgia, C, New York, D, New Jersey. Miles Frazier, what state was he born in? You can learn some things here. I don't expect you guys to know it, but hey.
Got it.
All right.
Got it.
Answers in 3, 2, 1.
D, New Jersey.
Oh, I went A.
The answer is D, New
Oh.
Jersey. Born in Camden, New Jersey. Born and raised.
You
And went
Jersey
to
boy.
FIU.
Yeah.
Come on now. Boone is up. What is it? 3-2 now.
I knew
3-2.
that one. I can't remember why, but I can't remember what it was, but I remember hearing that.
Boone's got the upper advantage. Come on, question 4.
Uh-oh.
Booner's future top 5 wide receiver, Jaden Higgins, was selected by the Houston Texans at the top of round 2, the first pick in the second round. Where did Higgins' fellow standout Iowa State wide receiver Jalen Noel land? Where did he get drafted to? A, the Tennessee Titans, B, the New York Jets, C, the Houston Texans, or D, the Arizona Cardinals? Jalen Noel, where did he land?
Got it.
Booney locked in.
Yep. Jeff, if you don't get this, there's a problem because we had a moment.
Answer in 3, 2, 1.
C, Texans.
C.
Yeah.
Correct. Good
Because
job,
I think when
fellas.
you weren't on the stream, Klotz, day 3, I told Jeff, I said, Texans got both of those guys. Like, that was
Yeah.
an absolute steal from them. They get both of them.
And they got Ursi. Come on now. All right. Junkyard Dog Dan Jackson was not invited to the combine, but he did show out at his pro day. What 40 time did Dan Jackson run at his pro day? A, 4.45, B, 4.51, C, 4.47, or D, 4.50. Dan Jackson, what was his 40 time, fellas? Think now. He can move. Locked in?
There's
It would be a shame if Klotz goes, he can move, and it's the 4.51. It's the lowest
He
one.
can move.
All right, I got it.
I'm going with my gut. Yeah, I'm just gonna do it.
All right.
Come on, Jeff.
Answers in 3, 2, and 1.
C, 4.47.
Hey,
The answer is A, 4.45. You think I'd put his slowest time on here versus a fast time? No, Boone. Boy can move. 4.45, Georgia Pro Day. 7th
tied
round.
or tied back up.
Yeah.
4 up, right? 4-4.
Yep, 4 up. What was that, question 5? So question 6 now, fellas. Question number 6. Who did the Seattle Seahawks take with the 50th pick in the NFL draft? A, safety Nick
no.
Emowari, if I say that correctly. B, wide receiver Jack Besh. C, Elijah Arroyo. Or D, Terrence Ferguson. Seattle Seahawks, 50th pick, second round. Who would they use their second round pick on?
Got it.
Locked
I'm
in, Boone?
space right now. Yeah, I'm good. I'm locked in.
All right. Jeff, you locked in?
Wait. It's not. This is a trick. This is a trick.
Why?
All right, I got it.
Locked in, Boone?
Oh, I'm locked in. Yeah, I got it. I had it right away. I probably got watching me get it wrong. I'm like, I got it.
I'm
right
taking
away.
a risk.
Really?
Yeah, I am.
All right, let's go.
Well,
I could be off too. Like, I think I might have it. The player I
Monty
picked.
knows what he's doing. This is not.
Oh, for sure.
This is something. It's like you think it's something. It's not. Like this is one of those. I think because.
I've never seen Jeff so shook.
No.
right now.
I'm just gonna do it. All right,
All
go.
right. Answers in 3, 2, and 1. You put
Hey.
it up so slow.
Nick. Oh yeah, he got it.
The
Where were
answer
you?
is
It's
C. Both of you are wrong.
knew it.
Elijah
Wow.
Arroyo.
Wait,
Nick
they picked-
Mariuari was
I
at the
knew it.
top of the second round.
I knew it, Boone. See,
Elijah Arroyo was their second round pick. Played out of Miami.
That was
went
unbelievable,
50th
dude.
overall.
I had a feeling, Boone. See, it's
Yeah.
like the obvious.
Both
ones
with-
that come out of
Because
Both
when
with-
he starts talking and he starts being like, "Who did they take with their second round pick?" Well, it was obviously Nick Worry. Like he went second round. So I thought they had 1 second round pick, and I knew for a fact he went there.
I will. To be fair, my answer
too.
wasn't going to be Elijah. I was going to be Jack Beck. That's what I was going.
Okay.
Jack
Yeah,
Beck
it was
Raiders.
it was
He
Nick
he's a Las
Worry
Vegas Raider.
from the jump for me.
Oh, he is.
So
Terrence
it's still
Ferguson,
4-4.
Los Angeles Ram. New weapon to pair with Tyler Higbee. Watch out now. Watch out
All
now,
right.
Boone. Question number 7, fellas. How many sacks did Tyreek, the big man in the middle, Williams have while at Ohio State? A, 10. B, 8.5.
I got it.
C, 11.5.
Because
Or
Klotz said
D,
it before.
12.5.
I don't know if I have it. but
Damn
I'm
right I
guessing.
have.
I'm
Damn
trying
right
to think
I
about the
have.
tweet that Klotz made the other day, and I think I have it, which was
We're at the highest
controversial.
number out of all of them.
I've noticed our tweets where the controversial ones are the ones that blow up.
I want to see
Everyone's-
people's opinions, Boone.
Yeah, but I did it again with the Leam, and I didn't mean to do it, and you did it with Tyreek, where it was like, here are his stats, and it was like, yeah, he played 40 more games.
No,
now.
just feed the Kool-Aid. Feed the Kool-Aid, Boone. Good propaganda.
All right, I'm locked in.
Locked in, fellas?
Yeah,
All right. Answers in 3, 2, and 1.
C.
I did D 12.5. It's probably 11.5.
The answer
I-
is C, 11.5.
I thought Klotz would put his highest one on there, and just
Yeah,
like he did with.
hey,
That would be a
psychology,
Klotz
Boone.
move.
Psychology.
That would be a
What I did
Klotz.
last time.
Yeah,
All right, question number 8, fellas. Moving
I'm
on.
down 5-4. I'm losing 5-4
5-4.
right now. Down 1.
Question number 8. Who was the 5th running back
Oh.
taken in the 2025 NFL draft? Who was the 5th running back taken? A, Caleb Johnson. B, Cam Scadaboo. C, Quinshon Judkins. Or D, RJ Harvey. Who was the 5th one taken?
I actually don't know this. I'm trying
Yeah,
to think in my head the ones that got taken.
You got to think of the order. Got to think of the order. It's a tricky one. 5th running back taken. Obviously not in the
I have-
first round.
So I have.
Not late round 3.
I dwindled it down.
I got it. I'm locked in.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my gut here.
I hope this is where it turns. I feel like me and Jeff are gonna put the same one, and that's gonna bother me so much, dude.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with my gut. I mean, let's just see how this goes. All right, I'm ready.
All right, answers in 3, 2, and 1.
RJ Harvey.
The answer is D.
Oh,
RJ Harvey.
RJ Harvey.
With
I
the
remember when he got
60th
picked, we were all a
overall
little
pick.
shocked.
Yep, everybody was shocked. He went in front of names like Caleb Johnson and Cam Scadaboo. Quinshon Judkins
Yeah.
was the 4th.
That's
I remember-
Cleveland
yeah.
Browns.
See,
Well, and I thought Quinshawn was the third.
Or no, he was the third. He was the third.
Yeah.
Travion was the fourth.
Travion was, and that was like kind of a shocking situation. Everyone was like,
Yep.
"Whoa!" But I remember Cam Scadaboo. It was like I think he might have gone day 3. Caleb Johnson
he
went to
was
the
late.
Steelers, and then I remember RJ. I remember when the RJ Harvey pick came through. It was like everyone. We were like on stream, like what? With all these guys on the board, shocking. But where did he go?
Well, he went to the Broncos. Or do you say what college did he go to? You saying?
No, where did he get drafted?
Oh yeah, Broncos. Boom. All right. Question number 9. How many quarterbacks were taken before Jeff King, Shadur Sanders? How many quarterbacks were taken before Shadur?
Oh,
How many were taken? The first round lock, if not early day 2. Shadur Sanders. How many?
Klotz, if you do some psychology on me or just whatever it's called, we're gonna have an issue right now. I'll tell you what.
Lock in, Boone.
All right.
I'm locked in. I got mine. I think I saw this stat on ESPN the day after the last day of the NFL draft. And maybe I'm thinking of it wrong, but I think I know it. I saw the stat.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, I'm just letting this one fly. Fuck it. Let's
Don't
go.
forget someone.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
All right, boys. Answers in 3, 2, and 1.
B, 7.
5, A.
The answer is A. 5.
No way.
5 were taken before Shadur.
It was a.
Are you sure it's 5?
Positive.
Cam Jackson, Dart, and
Yeah.
then your
Jalen
boy,
Milroe.
Tyler Shuck,
Yep. Jalen
Yeah.
Milroe.
and then Will Howard.
There was
No,
someone
Dylan
else
Gabriel.
in
Dylan Gabriel.
there. Dylan Gabriel and Will Howard.
Will Howard was after.
Oh, okay. He
I
was
think
after.
there's. I might have to.
Just
Are we
Google
sure?
it. Google it real quick, Boone.
Nah, I
It'll
trust
it'll
you.
pop up 5. It'll pop up
trust you.
5. Here's a conundrum, fellas. I'm trying to find this final question. I can't find it on my computer right now. Can't
Oh
find it.
no!
No.
Can you just say it? Can you just say it?
What's the score?
So
It's 6-5. I need to win this one to.
So yeah, I can say it, but here's the thing. It's gonna be all right. 'Cause I don't remember who I put
So
down
this is
for
for
the.
Boone. If Boone gets this, he ties it.
Yeah, and then we go to OT.
I put myself in a pickle, Boone.
I
Listen,
need this
pickle.
last one.
So
I
the
know.
host is fumbling the
I'm
bag.
fumbling the fucking bag right now, fellas. Oh, found it. I don't fumble.
There
Oh,
we
we
go.
got
Oh
it, we
my
got it. All right,
gosh.
here we go.
This would be
Which
historic
NFL
if I get this.
Which NFL team drafted future first ballot Hall
Oh,
of Famer
no.
defensive tackle Riley Mills, the big man out of Notre Dame, the Fighting Irishman?
It's a good
Which
one.
team did he land with? A, the Buccaneers down in Tampa Bay. B, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Pair him up with Travis Hunter. C, the Saints, who could use what the fuck ever. Or D, the Seattle Seahawks with Mike McDonald. The boys adding that front 7. Riley Mills.
I
Which
actually
team
don't
drafted
know.
him?
I
Yeah,
can't
this-
remember where Riley went.
I'm debating between 2 teams, and I'm battling
Ah.
right now. I'm battling. It just sounds like you have to just think in your head, Riley Mills to this team. Does it just click? You know, like does it click?
Or
Like,
does it not? And it still makes sense.
Think of him in that uniform. You know what I mean?
Or don't.
Or
One or the
don't.
other.
Oh, yeah, boom. This might come down to just taking a flyer. This is just going to
I
be
have
a flyer.
no clue, dude. There's one team I know for sure didn't take him. But the other 3, I'm in my mind right now convincing myself, and I'm just going back and forth through all of them.
I'm so
I'm
happy
trying to
this
think
ended
when
up
he
being the
got
last
drafted, our reaction on the show. Because I remember ours for Ty Robinson to the Eagles.
Yeah, I'm trying to
I
go to
don't
I'm
know.
thinking of like team needs. That's where I'm really thinking about. And I think there's a team on here that could use a guy like this, and I'm just gonna go with it. I'm just gonna,
What team are you picking? I just want to go opposite of you to have a chance.
Are we doing that?
I mean, I just want to have a shot. What are you doing? I mean, if
I'm
you
not
don't
gonna
have
allow
to,
this game as
you don't
as
have
show
to,
host.
but you can showboat
As
a little
show
bit.
host, I'll decline and game will end.
You can say it, Jeff, if you want, just out of pure respect for the
No,
game.
because then I want to. I know because
But you know what I mean? Like, give it a chance, like for fun. You know what I mean? It might make the game.
All
more
right, you know
interesting.
what? Fuck it. I ain't scared.
Who are you putting?
I'm gonna go Seahawks.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Seahawks. I could just see Riley Mills in that uniform. I don't know why.
What's great. I'm glad I asked you that because I was gonna go Seahawks as well. I was about to write Seahawks
I
down.
was
So
debating between them or the Bucks.
all right, let's
All
do
right,
it.
boys.
So I'm either picking
Series
A or
tied
C.
I'm
2-2.
giving Hey Boone. Don't say I never did nothing for you. Come on, baby.
Series tied 2-2.
Oh,
Post fumble in the question. A lot of pressure on this question, boys.
I want it on
Just
record. I wanted the
say your answer
Seahawks.
then, Boone, because then he'll just tell us who's right. Because I already said mine.
I am picking.
No. We'll go 3-2-1. We're going 3-2-1.
you're-
I run this fucking show, not you, Iafrate. Okay, you can host the regular crunch time. We're on crunch time early right now. Okay, know your role.
Whoa.
You are a contestant. You listen to the show host. Do we understand?
This guy's gonna be on TMZ.
Answers in 3, 2, and 1.
The Saints.
The D.
The answer is
It's the Seahawks.
D. The Seattle
I
Seahawks.
knew it the whole time.
Mike McDonald and the Seahawks. They got Riley Mills.
You had to think only a defensive guy would fall.
100% from the jump, dude. In my head, the Seahawks were number one. I knew the Jags didn't for sure. The Bucks, I felt like I would have heard if Riley Mills went to the Bucks.
I almost picked the Bucks, but I was like, no way they took a D.
I was between the Saints and the Seahawks because I was like, we really haven't heard much about Riley Mills, and if he got drafted somewhere good, Klotz would have been talking all about him. And I know how much Klotz hates the Saints, so I was like, maybe we just haven't heard of it because of that.
I don't like the Seahawks either. I can't stand the Seahawks.
Oh,
Just quiet.
That was a massive.
What a
take.
moment there. Good. Hey, that was a good game. That was a good game.
Oh,
Down to
Started
the-
out a little slow, fellas, but I thought it got interesting at the end there. Had to
It
get some
ended-
gimmies at the beginning.
it ended on a Seahawks just Hail Mary.
What's crazy is I lose this game because like the Jalen Noel question. Jeff would have had no clue if I didn't bring up Jalen Noel a couple weeks ago. No clue.
Which one did I
Dude,
get wrong? What did I
that-
get wrong? And you got right. What was that other one? Forgot which one that was.
I
You
don't
got
know.
one. You got me on one. Oh, Miles Frazier.
Oh
I know he
yeah,
was
yeah.
from Florida because he went to
From
Florida.
Jersey.
He went to the Florida. What was that?
FIU.
Yeah, I just took a flyer on that one.
I saw something a while ago or after they drafted him that he was like from Jersey or something. Someone had known him from Jersey in high school.
Well,
That was fun, though.
congratulations, Iafrate. You go
Down to the wire too.
Hey, that was a lot of fun, Klotzy. Good job.
That was fun, Klotz.
Yeah, these battles between me and Boone happen. It always comes down to one question. It always comes down to a question. It's just like we're battling. You know what I mean?
no.
We are battling. Hey, drop your mailbag questions, man. We got about 10 minutes. Drop any questions, any comments, concerns, thoughts. By the way, I want to say this too. Doc is out tomorrow. So just to give an idea, he's going to be joining the show Friday. He's got a busy next 2 days.
Yeah.
Doc's never, it's been a thing. Doc doesn't miss Wednesdays. He's just missing this Wednesday because he got some obligations. He has his daughter's thing Thursday. Respect to it. So Friday, Doc will be on. Heads up. So want to make
That's
that.
tough too
Good
because
Friday show, though.
I'm out Friday and I wanted to talk to the doc this week and I'm unfortunately out for a family graduation.
You asked me. You
So,
sent me questions, Boone, or whatever you want me to ask him.
I will. I mean, it's good. I'll let you guys cook. I can
You
always
should
text
send
out.
Doc questions and he can just read off
Yeah, from
the
Booner.
questions you have from the
That'd
phone.
be funny.
Like-
Nah, it's 1 week. I love the doc. I talk to the doc every other day too. Talking Lions. We text back and forth. So
Hey, Dull Spoon says, Mailbag, do you guys see the Tigers being World Series bound like I do?
Yeah, can we do a segment on that this week? Can we
Yeah.
talk Tigers
Yeah,
tomorrow?
Tigers are buzzing right now.
I would like to talk about the Tigers a little bit. They deserve a little bit of respect as World Series contenders. I think they're like 6th or 7th favored. They're second to win have the second best odds to win the AL, which is like right behind the Yankees. It's incredible.
Yep.
And
Right now,
give me the Tigers over the Yankees too, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean they already showed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're playing really well right now. I mean, they are. I mean, they're first in the AL. And we talked about it before the year too, like some players that kind of could change everything for them. And you're seeing the players that were kind of the X factors showing up like big time, like actually massively.
That's tough.
You look at the differential, like we talk about the pitching staff. They have a 63 run differdifferential on the year.
They have the best pitching staff in baseball right now.
Think about
Javi just fucking on a tear, bro, where he just like Javi looks like that streaky Javi, but it's just no cold. He's been on an absolute tear. To see like all the guys that were kind of like, you need to see more out of them, that were kind of like on that fringe. What are the Tigers going to do? They're stepping up this year.
Javi might be one of the best stories in baseball. He was like the worst player in baseball for 2 straight years, like dead last basically. And the man is now just out of nowhere, just like here. Hey, boys,
at 300 right now.
Decided to show up. It's
if
bombs.
He plays like that. There's no like that.
Yeah.
He makes
it is a
them,
long
like,
season,
truly
but
like an elite like World Series contender if he can play at that level during the playoffs.
if he does, if Torque does, if Riley Green does, and then it's like, all right, boys, like Parker Meadows isn't back yet, but he's working his way back in rehab right now. Matt Vierling's in rehab. I'm almost back. He just played he's playing in Toledo right now. So it's like guys are almost back. Oh, we're having Raj on Thursday too. Why did I
Yeah, Raj will
forgot. Raj will be on Thursday to talk some Tigers. We can talk tomorrow too, but Thursday.
Yeah, Torque's hitting bomb. I mean, Torque's leading the team in home runs. Like, who would have thought that before the year?
Yeah, dude, Riley Green this week too. I don't know if you boys saw. Caleb and I had put the bet on. I think it's over 23 or over 22 and a half home runs on the year, and he went on that bad streak, man, where he just could not hit. He couldn't hit anything. And then just in the last week, he's had 2 games where he's had 2 home runs.
He had 2 in 1 inning, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
the
other night,
which is crazy.
And then a couple games before that, he had 2 in the same game as well. So it's just like he's kind of flipped the switch a little as well.
Yeah, I mean, the Tigers are. I mean, they're a really good team. So they're worth. I mean, we probably should talk about them more. Like they're worth. I mean,
We will.
Yeah, I mean, they're 63 run differential, and that's freaking insane. I mean,
you could argue this year they're the best team in Detroit. Like that's a legit argument.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, that's a fair.
Out of all of the teams, even with the Lions, I know the Lions are extremely good, top 5 in the league, but like Tigers are right there too.
Ryan just said Tyrese Halliburton game winner. Did he just?
Wow,
another one,
dude. Tyrese is something, dude. I'll tell you. Yeah, he did 120, 119. They're up 2-0. Won both games on the road. Tyrese is something. He's someone that needs to get a little bit more respect.
I agree.
And he doesn't put the points up, but like just in moments where you need like your player, like star player, to step up, does it every time. Every time.
Yeah, he's efficient. He's always been like he is a good player.
I hope again. I said it. I know you guys didn't like it. I hope the Pacers Knicks are the Eastern Conference Finals and let them battle it out to go to the finals. I think that'd be sick.
Pacers are a good team. That's why I didn't want the Pistons to play them. I mean, I did for the story, but when you talk about like the actual team, they would have beat the Pistons worse than the Knicks. I think the Knicks were a better matchup for them. I will admit that. But I'm glad they didn't. I was wrong about that. Pacers are really good. They honestly, they are. If you look at them, they're just, there's so many guys that can beat you on the Pacers. That's why it's like the Pistons, they're going to get to that point where they just have multiple options and they have 2, like a Tyrese Halliburton would be like Cade, and then they have just guys everywhere. And the Cavs don't have Darius Garland. So
did you guys watch that game last night, the Nuggets Thunder game?
Oh my, so satisfying.
Do you watched it?
Like the last 2 minutes of it, I was like just scrolling it.
I'm so mad. I stayed up all night and I watched it first quarter to the fourth quarter.
Opposite.
I fell asleep with 4 minutes left. They were down 10 and it's on my TV. I'm sleeping. I wake up. I kid you not, wake up out of a dead sleep. And it's, what's his name?
TNT
Ernie
crew.
Johnson being like,
That's
and the
the
Denver or not the Broncos, the Denver Nuggets complete the comeback. And I'm like half asleep, like, there's
That's
no
the
way.
worst. That's the worst, especially when it's those late games too, and you like realize that you fell asleep, and you're like, oh.
And it was literally, I fall asleep, they're down 12. Like it was like 4 minutes
when
left,
I
they're down
was-
12.
When
and
I
I'm like,
turned
it's
it
over.
on, because I was like, I thought the game was over. Then I like looked at the score real quick. I was like, oh, they're down like 4 or 5 points right now. Like, let me turn this on for a second. And then I saw like the buzzer beater. I was like, damn, good game.
Oh, I was so mad. I woke up. I had to watch it. I woke up out of a dead sleep and pulled my phone out. I had to watch the Aaron Gordon shot.
The same thing with the Knicks, or is how I feel about the Thunder.
Yeah, there's something about the Thunder I don't like.
They're just soft, man. Just a soft team. Soft.
Yeah,
wouldn't have lasted back in the day. I'll tell you that much. Back when real basketball was played.
Yeah, I mean,
Wouldn't have lasted. This SGA wouldn't have lasted a second with Dennis Rodman, Charles Barkley, SGA, Chet Holmgren. You kidding me? Built like my calf. Horace Grant.
SGA.
He said Chet's built like his calf. That's tough, man.
I will say SGA is. He's that guy. He just flops. I get it. I mean, he flops.
He does get the guys on the Thunder. I'll give them credit. Like those dudes, I know that when I fell asleep, they weren't making it. But when I was watching them in the fourth yesterday, when I was awake, they were hitting big shot after big shot, and I was like, man, is it Jalen Williams? I had him. I had a bet on, and all I needed was him 3 more points, rebounds, or assists, and I needed that with like 10 minutes to go in the game. He just didn't do anything. But he's good. He's legit. He averaged like 20 a game. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Not familiar.
Yeah. He had a pretty big year this year.
Yeah.
He's pretty good.
Where did he play college? Do you guys know?
No.
Was he an Arkansas guy?
Yeah, he was. It wasn't a big time college. He played. Let me see. He played at Santa Clara. Yep.
He played at Santa Clara?
Yep.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Where did Ty Lawson go to college, Boone?
Santa Clara.
It's the best game ever. Remember we were at the combine? We were just doing that for like an hour.
Oh yeah, I love Santa Clara. Is shocking to me.
Shocking.
I don't know why. Isn't that where Steve Nash went?
He might have.
I think.
We did do that at the combine for the longest. We were like at a table,
college,
surrounded by like NFL executives, and it's just us in the middle.
No,
of
he
all
did.
Them.
He went to Santa Clara. You're right.
Yeah, good call, Boone.
That was a funny game to play in the situation we were in.
Here you go. Weezy says nobody says a trade for a depreciated asset like Naismith, Celtics first round wing, or Denny
Avdija from the Washington.
Yeah,
he's actually decent.
Yeah. Luka Light with defense wasting away on the Wizards. You got to get players like that, not Booker or Markkanen.
Yeah, I mean, Weezy might not be wrong. I mean, I think Markkanen would be a great fit.
I think he wins you a couple more games for sure.
But I am at Weezy. It is a good point by Weezy. There are players out there who you could get pretty cheap, I'm sure, who do have like pretty decent potential. That it's like a team would be willing to move on from without having to give up the house, and he could actually make a decent impact.
Right. All right. Hey, appreciate you all. We'll be back tomorrow. As always, get your merchandise. I'm wearing the hat right now. It's on.
What's Portland mean? From Coach Walk. Portland.
Maybe like a team to go snipe from.
Go get someone from Portland.
Yeah.
They're probably looking to sell.
Until tomorrow, much love to you all. See ya.
Love you guys.
Peace.